Welcome to another video on education by Johan Lim. Today we'll be going over the United States education system in comparison to China's education system. We will compare the two countries based on classroom culture, primary education, secondary education, and tertiary education. Together we will find out which education system wins in each category. We will start out in China to observe the classroom culture that exists there. Let's begin with China's classroom culture. In China, the average primary and secondary classroom sizes ranges from 30 to 50 students. Due to the large number of students, teachers often cannot focus on individual students, but rather they focus their attention to the whole group. Teachers rarely have their own classrooms in China since teachers are the ones that move between classroom breaks. Teachers are another important aspect of Chinese classroom culture. Students may have the same teacher for over 3 years in a row. Teachers are also well respected in China, and this reflects in the classroom. Students give high respect to their teachers as an acknowledgement of their hard work and dedication. Now that we have seen a glimpse of what Chinese classroom culture consists of, let's travel back to the United States of America and see what their classroom culture looks like. Now let's talk about American classroom culture. In America, the average primary and secondary classroom usually max around 30 students. Whether having less students is a factor, Americans' teachers are on average focused more on individual students, urging for uniqueness among students. Students are also the ones that move between classroom breaks, with teachers rarely having to move to a new classroom in most schools. Now, what about teachers? In America, students rarely have the same teacher for more than a year. Students are often shuffled around different classes, resulting in new teachers. Teachers are respected, however, this can depend on the region. Teachers also face many budget cuts and low pay, resulting in limited supplies for students. Now that we have gone over each country's classroom culture, let's have a quick glimpse of them side by side. Now that we have a better understanding of each country's classroom culture, let's move on to the next topic. Primary education. China's primary school education system comprises of 266,677 school buildings, 2.5 million teachers with an average salary of 56,162 USD. The United States, on the other hand, has 88,665 school buildings and 1.9 million teachers with an average salary of 45,000 USD. The United States has 37,100,000 students enrolled in pre-primary and primary school, while China has 153,910,000 students enrolled in pre-primary and primary school. In China, students start primary school as early as 2 years old and graduate to secondary school around the age of 12. In the United States, students start primary school around the age of 5 and graduate to secondary school around the age 11. Primary school in China usually starts around 7 to 8 a.m. and ends around 5 p.m. After school, students play sports with their friends, practice a musical instrument, or learn a skill. In the United States, primary school starts around 8 through 9 a.m. and ends around 3 p.m. After school, students either hang out with their friends or go home to rest. Chinese primary education curriculum is focused mainly around Chinese, math, English, in addition to basic science, PE, music, and computer skills. United States primary education curriculum is focused around English, math, social studies, life science, and PE, music, and art. Now that we have gone over each country's primary education, here's a summary. Let's now move on to the next topic, secondary education. China's secondary education consists of 77,018 school buildings, 8 million teachers with an average salary of 58,240 USD. The United States has 37,100 school buildings and 1,900,000 teachers with an average salary of 50,000 USD. The United States has 41,400,000 middle to high school students in secondary education, while China has 99,477,073 middle to high school students in secondary education. In China, secondary school starts around the age of 12 and ends at the age of 17, while in the United States, secondary school starts roughly at the age of 11 and ends at the age of 18. Secondary school in China usually starts around 7 a.m. and ends around 5 p.m. After school, students often attend evening classes and get tutoring preparing for the Gaokao, a college admission test taken by all secondary students wanting to go to a university in China. In the United States, secondary school starts around 8 through 9 a.m. and ends around 3 p.m. After school, students attend extracurricular activities, participate in clubs, and study for the SAT and ACT, a standardized test taken by students wanting to attend a college or university in the United States. Chinese secondary education curriculum still focuses on the main subjects Chinese, math, and English. Physics, biology, chemistry are also very important, as they are all classes in which students test for in the Gaokao. Students also take PE, music, computer science, and geography. United States secondary education curriculum focuses on English, math, American history, physics, biology, and chemistry. PE, music, art, and Spanish are also included. Now that we have gone over each country's secondary education, here is a summary. Let's now move on to the next topic, tertiary education, also known as post-secondary education. China's tertiary education system consists of 2,914 school buildings, 1 million teachers with an average salary of 75,000 USD. United States tertiary education system has 4,298 school buildings, 1,350,000 teachers with an average salary of 78,000 USD. The United States has 16 million students enrolled in tertiary or post-secondary institutions, while China has 11,600,000 students enrolled in post-secondary institutions. In China, tertiary education starts at the age of 17 and goes to the age of 21 plus, and in the United States, tertiary education starts at the age of 18 and goes to the age of 21 plus depending on the degree. Now that we have gone over each country's tertiary education system, here's a summary. China spends over $410 billion in primary and secondary education, while the United States spends $706 billion in its primary and secondary education. China also spends $154 billion in its tertiary education, while the United States spends $584 billion. Out of the $584 billion, $372 billion is spent on public institutions, $197 billion is spent on non-profit institutions. Now let's go back to why the United States tertiary education system outnumbers China's. Chinese nationals are one of the fastest growing student populations in the United States. The road for a Chinese student to be accepted into an American university is often complex and challenging. Jackie Wang is here to explain her experience through the process and how she made it to an American university.
I had to go through many hours of preparing for standardized exams while studying for my Chinese standardized exam as well. And it was a very long process that we had to plan since the beginning of high school.
We went on to ask Jackie how many hours she spent studying for her American standardized exams.
I would go to classes about 4 hours every other day, and then on the weekends, it's all weekends, probably the entire Saturday, about like 6 to 7 hours.
We then asked her why she went through all the trouble to come to an American university.
Because of the quality of the education in China, before college, the education is great, but after college, so during the entire 4 years of college, Chinese universities' quality just kind of goes down. Chinese students who got a Western education, when they go back, they're so much more appealing to the employers, and they have their doors just open up as soon as they've been here getting some experience on how bigger companies, international companies work, and then going back there to utilize the skills that they have learned over here.
That was it with our interview with Jackie Wang. However, we were able to learn a lot about why American universities stacked up better than Chinese universities. Just like Jackie said, China's education system seems to have the United States beat from primary education all the way up to secondary education. However, after secondary education, United States universities outranked Chinese universities in quality and opportunities opened. Just like Jackie, over 300,000 Chinese students come to the United States to study in American universities because they know it will open up better opportunities when they go back to China. That's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Today's video is sponsored by Education for Idaho, sparking change for Idaho's education. This website features blogs, as well as feedback, and a membership program for those interested. There are also infographics and information for those who enjoy looking at those too. Thank you so much for watching another video on education by Johan Lin.